Looking for cool toys like the ones seen in this review? You can shop thousands of action figures, statues, busts, replicas, costumes, graphic novels, and much more at Big Bad Toy Store. Just click the link in the description below this video. Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the NECA Gremlins Series 1 Daffy figure. Alright, so you might remember around Christmas time, I reviewed my very first Gremlins figure. I have always stared at this line and loved the way it looked, but until then, I had never picked any up. Well, I think it's safe to say that I'm hooked. So I hope you guys are ready to see a few Gremlins videos over the course of the next few days. We're going to go ahead and kick things off by taking a look at Daffy here. So Daffy comes in the NECA clamshell style blister card packaging that fully showcases the figure within. On the bottom there you can see an insert that's got the Gremlins logo along with an image of Daffy from the film. And then the back of that packaging gives us a close-up shot of the Daffy action figure, and below that we get a look at the different Mogwai and Gremlins figures released by NECA. So some of the various Gremlins we saw in the Gremlins 2 movie were pretty wacky, and Daffy here was like the kooky, kind of crazy Gremlin in the film. So let's go ahead and take a look at the design and sculpt of this guy. Now I will say that I'm always very amazed by the amount of detail that NECA puts into these figures. Just looking at the overall sculpt of all of these Gremlins, including Daffy here, it's just amazing to see all the little intricacies and details that they put in there. I love looking real close up at it. You can see how the texture of the skin, it's very scaly looking, and the overall paint job on it has kind of got almost this gloss to it that kind of gives it a little bit of a shine like a reptilian coat would have. There's lots of great painted details on there as well. You can see there's a lot of great shading and variance in the colors around his stomach and ab section there. And then the colors on there, it's like a very bright green is the prominent color, but it kind of fades into a lighter green and then into kind of a tan color on the front. He's got these great black spots that all run down his sides there. Looking at his back is where a lot of the detail really is, because you can see he's got little spikes kind of coming down the back of his head on his neck. Lots of great blacks that just stand out really well on the dark green of the skin there. And I love too, because down in the cracks of all of the scales and everything, you can see kind of that tan seeping through too. So there's just a lot of really great paint deco going on this figure. And then, of course, the unique thing on this would be Daffy's head sculpt. He's got that very signature goofy look to his face. You can see he's got the kooky eyes going on. They're big and bugged out there, and they're kind of a little crossed a little bit. He did have kind of like the kooky kind of rolling around eyes in the film. You can see he's got a very happy look to his face. He's got a bright red tongue sticking out. Not as many teeth in this particular Gremlin's mouth. You can see they're kind of stubby little teeth in there. And then his ears are pointing straight out to the sides. So it's a very cool look. Also one of the few Gremlins that has some hair on top of his head. You can see that there are a few little pieces of red hair. They're sculpted plastic. They're just kind of sticking off the top of his head and laying off to the side there. So it's a fantastic sculpt all around. Great paint deco all the way through and through. So let me show you the articulation on this guy. I think you'll find that the articulation among the Gremlins here, it's going to be pretty much the same all the way across the board. So the head is able to swivel at the neck, going left and right. You can spin it all the way around. It also does have a slight up and down movement. He has ball-like joints at the shoulder, so you can move the arms outwards, forwards, and backwards. A swivel right above the elbow, as well as a standard elbow bend. The hands are on little ball joints there, so you can twist them and kind of roll them around. The legs are able to move upwards and downwards and slightly in and out there. He does have the standard knee joint, and then the feet are on the same type of ball joints as the hands, so they kind of twist and they can roll around a little bit there. So it's a pretty decent amount of articulation on these guys, and you can actually get some pretty cool posing out of them. Now, as far as his accessories go, Daffy here actually comes with some pretty fun ones. So he's got the goofy disguise glasses here that have the nose and the mustache and the eyebrows. And then he's also got one of those little party horns, the little party blowers there. The glasses can just kind of sit over his face there. They do kind of hook onto the little spikes above his eyes, so they do sit nice and firm on his face. And then the little party blower there can actually fit into his mouth, and it stays in his mouth. Now, his arm articulation doesn't really allow him to grab the party blower with his hand while it's in his mouth, but you can also position it in his hand, and the figure just looks hilarious wearing those disguise glasses, so it really adds even more humor to this kooky character. So there you go, guys. There's a look at Daffy. Now, I know these figures have been out for a while, but like I said, I just kind of recently finally dove into picking up these figures. I've always wanted to, and so far I am really impressed with them. I was always a big fan of the Gremlins movies, and Gremlins 2 is just, you know, kind of the goofier version, but I still always loved it. Definitely had a soft spot in my heart for it, and I think it's great that we're getting some of these different Gremlins characters from the films, even the goofy ones like Daffy here. He makes for a fantastic figure, and is going to be happily displayed on my toy shelf. Until next time.